This is what people tell me over and over again, repetitively, that come to me. They're like, if I only had more time, I would be more successful. If I only had more time, I would be more healthier. If I only had more time, I would have better relationships. I would have more skills if I only had the time to invest in these categories of my life. Hello, beautiful people. Tiffany Julie here, certified high-performance success coach, and I'm super excited to talk to you today all about how you can increase your revenue. You can have cash injections coming into your business in less than 24 hours from implementing even just one of the strategies I'm going to teach you today. So let's get into it. All the entrepreneurs come to me wanting to work with me because they feel like they're doing all the things, they're juggling all the things. They don't have enough time to do anything else. They don't have enough time to do more, and they want to make more money. And they're just like, well, what do? I'm out of time, but I want to make more money. So time is the first excuse everybody gives. Time gets a bad rap. We got to stop blaming time because everyone, my friends, is gifted the same 24 hours in a day. It is what we do with the time that we are given that matters. So Tony Robbins, for example, has the same amount of time. The president of the United States has the same amount of time. Oprah Winfrey, all the people. I don't know who's influential to you, but think about them. They have the same 24 hours in a day as you do. They're just using their time differently. So we got to value your time differently. We have to give you a mindset shift in some of these aspects. And then we have to actually take different action with these categories of life I'm going to bring up today. And it's your fastest path for you to being able to get more money, achieve more money, earn more money, receive more money. So let's talk shop, shall we? First thing, I want to talk statistics with you on where the average person spends their time so that you can start thinking about, okay, what am I doing here? Where am I spending my time? How do I value my time? What's going on? Social media, 2.5 hours the average person spends per day on social media. Email, same thing, 2.6 hours every day the average person spends in their email inbox. 3 hours consuming TV, 1 hour in the car, 2 hours a week grocery shopping, 4 hours per week doing laundry, 1 hour a day cleaning, 1 hour a day cooking. 144 times an average person checks their phone, picks up their phone, checks in, and 78 text messages per day an average person sends out. So we all text. We all pick up our phone. We all consume social media. Maybe you don't watch TV. I'm not sure. That's a category that's iffy, but majority of people do. Everyone needs to use email. Everyone needs to eat, grocery shop. Everyone needs to clean, right? We're not going to have a dirty house. So the thing is that we must look at these categories and see how much time you are spending in these categories. When you can optimize just even one of these categories and gain back even an hour or two a day of your time, imagine spending that hour or two a day extra marketing your business, doubling down on the strategies that are already working, bringing in the leads and the clients and the customers in your business. Imagine throwing 2 more hours a day at that strategy. Or imagine expanding your strategy, starting new revenue engines in your business, getting a new marketing funnel put out, getting new email sequences created, getting new sales pages up, new Facebook ad campaigns, new Google ad campaigns, new social media campaigns, getting those set up, working, putting that out there in the world, getting more visibility. Imagine just 1 or 2 hours per day. At the end of a week, that's a lot. That's 14 hours a week. That's, close to 52 hours a month extra marketing your business, doing the needle moving activities, doing the money making activities in your business. Instead of just maintaining your business, now you are literally having prolific output and pushing those projects forward and getting your business out there in a bigger way. So it's not about eliminating any of these categories, right? I'm not telling you to not scroll on social media. I'm just saying let's be more intentional and be more focused and be more strategic in these areas, okay? So we can minimize these areas, or we can build a system around some of these areas and get support and delegate in some of these areas so that you can then gain back your time. So your time is your most valuable resource. Why? Because when you spend the time 40 minutes scrolling that social media, baby, you can never get back that 40 minutes, but you can always make more money. Money is not hard to make. You just have a misalignment somewhere of where you're spending your precious time. So let's get you an hourly rate. I know as entrepreneurs, business owners, CEOs, like you don't really necessarily have an hourly rate, but what you could do is you could take what you pay yourself from the business every month, and then you could average out, okay, well, how much time do I spend in the business every month? Divide those hours into that paycheck, and you can get somewhat of an idea. Just for, shits and giggles here, do it. Figure out what your hour's worth, and anything that you can delegate or automate that is less than your hourly rate is going to pay you back a return on that investment. Okay. So if you, for example, were to outsource cleaning and cooking and laundry every single week and grocery shopping, you would buy yourself back almost 82 hours. I have everything written on a sheet. So if you see me looking over here, that's what I'm looking at. You would gain back over 82 hours a month that you could then go and spend that time and reinvest it into marketing your business, doing the money-making activities, and it's going to give you an exponential ROI, right? Because there's a compounding effect that happens to your efforts, Imagine that. That's like 2 full work weeks extra. And let's face it, now you don't have to cook, you don't have to clean, you don't have to grocery shop, you don't have to do any of that stuff. I mean, who enjoys cooking and cleaning and doing laundry? I don't know. I certainly don't, right? So if you look at influential people in your life like Tony Robbins, Oprah Winfrey, the president, they're not doing any of that. They're not doing any of those activities. Okay? So the first thing that people argue with me about when they come to work with me, they say, I don't have the money. I don't have the money right now to do that, Tiffany. I'm barely staying afloat. And I'm like, think about this. If just after 7 days of outsourcing that stuff, you would gain back about 20 hours in that week. You can't tell me that you can't go as a business owner, as a CEO of your company, create the amount of money that you would pay out for a cleaning lady, someone to come cook for you and do your laundry. You can't go and figure out a way to close the potential clients you have in the pipeline, or get in front of more people, or make a different offer out there in the world. Like, then we have a bigger problem to really talk about there, because you know what to do. You know what to do to go receive the clients, to help and serve more people. Like, you know how to get in front of more people if you only had the time. This is what people tell me over and over again, repetitively, that come to me. They're like, if I only had more time, I would be more successful. If I only had more time, I would be more healthier. If I only had more time, I would have better relationships. I would have more skills if I only had the time to invest in these categories of my life. But you do have the time. Time is an excuse at the end of the day, and we've got to take self-responsibility. We have to be like that radical responsibility. We got to be self-effacing. We got to look in the mirror. We got to say, I'm the creator of my life. I choose every single day when I get up and I'm given and granted a gift of 24 hours, I'm the decider of where my time and energy goes. Nobody is doing that for you and dictating that for you, okay? And even if you work in a 9-to-5, you can be more efficient outside of that so that you can be more productive. I help so many people who are in a corporate position or a 9-to-5 build their business outside of that 9-to-5, and then we get that business functioning to a point that they can then replace that revenue, and they don't have to go to the 9-to-5 anymore. They can just do their business full time. I help so many entrepreneurs to launch many businesses while working with me. How? How do I have some clients that can juggle and manage and function and move forward 6 businesses? They have 5 kids. They're a big part of their community. They have a huge network of friends. They have a social life. They're healthy. They go to the gym every day. They take care of themselves. They meditate. How do those people do all that? And then I have some other clients who collapse if they're serving 10 people and they're unhealthy. They don't have the best of relationships. right? There's a difference between how these people are using their time. There's no right or wrong. I love all my people. Okay, don't get me wrong. I love all my clients. And I was at one point like struggled so much in this category, and I had so much burnout in my life. I was not happy. I was miserable. And so you don't have to have burnout. You don't have to always feel like you have a lack of time. Like, oh my God, I have so many things to do and not enough time. If I followed you around every day and clicked a clicker and counted how much you blame time with your thoughts, or how much you even say it out loud. Oh, I can't do that tonight because I don't have the time. Or I can't blah, blah, blah because of time. It would be a lot. You give yourself that excuse a lot, but we've got to remember that you are the creator and you are the decider of where your time goes. So let's talk social media, for example. Maybe you just limit social media. Go to your phone right now while we're talking about this and go get the data. I want you to look at the data of where you're spending your time on your phone. Your phone tracks that. Go to the settings and go wherever that setting is, look at it and say, okay, where am I spending my time on this phone? And you will be astounded. My clients are like, no, I'm not on social media that much. I'm like, pull up your phone. Show it to me in the Zoom, the setting. Take a screenshot. You can't fake that. Send it to me. I want to see it. I want to know. I want to know how much time you're spending on social media. I want to know how much time you're spending in your email, TV, all the things. Let's get the data and let's just look at it. That's the first step to changing anything, is becoming aware. Okay. So that's your phone. Now, if you just tracked your time for a week and at the end of the week, you looked at your time and you said, okay, how much time did I spend on marketing activities this week? How much time did I spend on branding, on social media, on admin, on client work, client management, team management? How much time did I spend in these buckets? And you can kind of like see very clearly why you probably don't have the revenue or the money that you want, because your time is not being spent where it needs to be. I bet you the marketing bucket is the least full out of all of what I just said. Okay. So it just takes awareness. It takes tracking. We need to know the data. We need to know the metrics. A lot of business owners come to me, they don't track their time. They have no idea. They can't even tell me where they're spending their time. And that's the first thing we do, is I have them track their time for 2 weeks. I question every single thing that they're doing. And then we optimize, we systematize, we delegate, we automate things. Okay. So there's a lot of things here that could be systematized. I'm not telling you to not be in your email inbox, right? Like, you need to be in your email. Everyone needs to reply to emails. Everyone needs to send emails. So it's like, well, how can we get a better system for you? You can set up filtration systems. You can set up blocks of time that are specific throughout the day where you're checking emails, so you're not constantly checking in. Remember that the average person checks their phone and picks their phone up 144 times in a day. So part of that is you checking in all the time in these micro moments in email. And now you're opening up a bunch of loops in your mind, and you probably aren't able to like sit down and be intentional and send those emails. So then you're like, oh, I'm going to do that later. And then now you have an open loop in your mind thinking, oh, I got to send all these emails. And now your mind, like, now you're losing all this focus. Plus then you go and you scroll social media for 5 minutes when you could have been closing your eyes, taking that time and investing it into meditating for 5 minutes, focusing in on your vision, writing your goals down, going for a walk, getting a drink of water, stretching. Like, you can optimize and funnel your time a little bit differently so that you can have more focus and then even be able to get more things done faster. Right now, you probably are just trying to multitask. You're trying to wear all these hats. You're trying to move from totally different tasks to, different tasks. So for example, you're probably like doing some marketing things, and then you're over answering emails, and then you're over doing admin work, and then you're over doing client work. And like, then you go back to the marketing. It's like, no, how about we batch these things? How about we systematize these things? How about we look at your schedule and how you're operating and functioning, your everyday activities in your business and in your life, and get more strategic with it, like get more focused with all these things. And you're going to feel better mentally. You're going to feel better emotionally. You're going to feel better physically, instead of feeling all over the place. Okay. So if you are that overwhelmed entrepreneur, you've got so many things going on, you almost feel like one of those blow up dolls, blowing around in the wind in front of the businesses, like, oh, I got to get attention. Oh my God, I got to make the monies. I got to do all the things. Calm down. That takes a lot of energy for you to be flailing around like that. Let's take a beat, take a moment, and let's get focused and intentional, okay? How can I use my time better? How can I stop checking my phone 144 times a day, right? So I've been doing this thing where I'm turning my phone off for 8 hours a day. I legit just turn it off straight up, don't even have it on, because then I'm not tempted to go pick it up a million times. I have strategic time blocks when I reply to my clients, strategic time blocks when I'm checking and replying to email, strategic time blocks when I'm doing my text messages to people. I'm intentional, I'm focused, I go in, I get it done, I have a goal, and I get out of there. And I'm like, all right, I'm out. I'm on to the next thing. Let's be more intentional here. Let's be more purposeful here. Let's be empowered here. I mean, text messages, the average person sends 78 text messages per day. Is that necessary? If you just looked at the text that you're sending, how much unnecessary communication do you have going on in your life, right? How much wasted time is going there? Even if it was you spent 1 minute on each of those text messages, that's 78 minutes a day. That's almost 90 minutes. It's almost an hour and a half of time, right? So what if you were to just say, okay, well, how can I eliminate the unnecessary communication here? How can I be more focused when I'm checking my text messages? How can I only check once a day or twice a day versus all these micro moments throughout the day? Nobody needs a reply instantly, okay? We live in this society where people just think that, oh my God, I have to reply right away or this person's going to be mad at me or they're not going to have what they need. It's like, no, babe, somebody else's agenda is not your emergency. And you have to value your time enough. You have to understand that by saying yes to sending these text messages that are unnecessary, you're saying no to something else at the same time. By saying yes to scrolling social media in the micro moments, even 10 minutes, you're saying no to sending that follow-up email to that potential client. You're saying no to putting a social media post out there that could get in front of your potential client. You're saying no to creating that marketing email that you need to send to your email list to get in front of them, right? Like, you're saying no to something at the same time you say yes to something else. So every time, if you just ask yourself that when you picked up your phone, okay, what am I about to do? What am I saying no to if I say yes to this text? Say yes to this phone call. Say yes to this email. Say yes to checking social media. What am I saying no to? Okay. And that's it. I mean, honestly, just doing one of these things and cleaning up an hour or two a day. Imagine if you actually could be more efficient where you gain back like 4 hours a day. I mean, my clients that work with me, it is absolutely guaranteed that within 30 days, they buy back a minimum of 80 hours. I can guarantee it at this point because it's just a repetitive thing with all my clients. All my clients end up doubling their money and working half of the time. Doubling their money and working half of the time. Why? Because of the exact basic things I'm talking to you about here. Obviously, we go deeper, right? But you've got to start with the basics. I do this with 8-figure entrepreneurs, 7-figure entrepreneurs, multiple 7-figure entrepreneurs, 6-figure entrepreneurs. It doesn't matter. I do the same process with my clients. They all have the same result. Okay? So you can do this on your own. It does take, a lot of effort, right? And it is helpful to have someone on the outside asking you like, well, why are you doing that? What's going on here? This is how you can optimize that, but you can do this on your own. Just take that ownership and radical responsibility and care enough about your money, honey, to look at your time differently, So let's just say you get your hourly rate and your hourly rate is $500 an hour. Okay. Would you pay Facebook $500 an hour to scroll on it, to just scroll mindlessly, consuming random things? Would you pay Facebook $500 an hour? Because that's what it's costing you when you go to do that. What if you looked at the value of time in this way? You would probably stop scrolling mindlessly, right? And you can invest that money now into something else. You just bought back by not scrolling on social media for an hour. You just literally saved $500. Now, what if you took that $500 and go and hired someone to grocery shop, clean, do the laundry, be your assistant, like having a in-person assistant? What if you paid them $500 a week to come over for like 1 or 2 hours a day and help you send the emails that you don't need to be replying to, like maybe they can set up some of these systems for you in your life to be more efficient, So it's about looking at these categories and saying, how can I be more efficient? For example, with driving in the car, the average person spends an hour in the car a day. Well, what are you doing? Where are you driving? Is it necessary where you're going? Can someone else do those things for you? Can someone else run those errands for you? Or if they can't and you actually have to be in the car, how do you be more efficient with that time? Maybe you actually reply to all your text messages in that time frame. Maybe you do talk to text and you get all your text messages out and you're using that time differently. Maybe you get, listening to marketing podcasts, building up a skill, learning a new marketing process that you could do for your business to make more money, or listening to how you could look at your money differently, changing your mindset around money so it can help you make more money. Like, how do you use that time more efficiently in the car if you have to be in the car? So these are just different ideas, right? I could go on and on and on how you can optimize your time and be more efficient. So if you have to show up for something like email, the first thing I would ask myself is, how do I get a system around this? How do I get a time block around this? How do I get a container for myself that I'm showing up in? And how do I just be more intentional? How do I batch things? How do I do all my marketing tasks in one clump so I'm not feeling all over the place like I have to do all these things? Oh my goodness, I'm wearing all these hats. And like, you're like, I don't have enough time for all the things. It's like, no, let me do all my marketing in a couple of hours, knock it out, feel really good, get that going, then move on to the next thing. Okay, all my client management is going to be done in this container in this block of time. Okay, now moving on, I'm going to do all this admin stuff. I'm going to just knock out all this admin stuff. And do you see how like being more intentional just feels more empowered? It feels more confident. And then when you can start to be moving your goals and your dreams forward faster at more of an accelerated pace, and you start to see your bank account increasing and making more money and getting more clients and making more sales, you're just naturally going to feel better about yourself. And when you feel better about yourself, your health is going to rise. The way that you communicate when you come across people in your life, with your spouse or your kids or your team, you're going to communicate differently. You're not going to feel stressed out and all over the place and like disempowered, like you're in reactive mode all the time. You're going to feel proactive. You're going to feel intentional. You're going to feel purposeful. You're going to feel confident. And now imagine what that energy is going to bring to your relationships. Imagine the time you're going to get back by being more efficient so that you can then go to the gym. You can have the time to go to the gym, or you can have the time to sit down and eat a nice meal without pounding and working at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, imagine what you could be able to do, not just with your finances if you actually get focused in on this, but with every category of your life, it's going to rise, right? You're going to have that empowerment, that confidence, that personal power. You're going to feel like a CEO and not just like you created yourself some sort of work. You're not going to feel like the worker bee. You will feel like a CEO. And there is no better feeling like that in the world. And when you're feeling like that, baby, what do you think you're going to set your eyes on? You're going to dream bigger. You're going to call yourself to a higher standard. You're going to expect more from yourself. And you're going to be able to deliver things with excellence. So naturally, when you're doing everything with excellence, because you're slowing down to speed up, you're more focused, you're more intentional, you're more purposeful. Your business and your bank account are going to naturally rise because your customers are going to be more happy. You're not going to make as many mistakes. You're going to feel better about yourself because you don't have to go back and redo things. You're not going to beat yourself up like, oh my God, I should have done this differently. I should have slowed down and, taken the moment and taken a beat to think about this. You're going to have a lot less of that. So my wish for you is that you look at this category of your life with grace and with love, but also with tough love, okay? And you just optimize one thing this week. I'm challenging you to do it. See the results. Come into my email inbox, admin@tiffanyjulie.com, and tell me how it goes for you, okay? If you want support with this is what I do with my clients. I can guarantee you a lot of time back. I can guarantee you that you're going to make more money, and it's a high level of accountability, and you will just absolutely adore every moment of this process with me. So find me. Go to tiffanyjulie.com and I can serve you and help you and support you in this area. And remember, go out there, take action, make it real in your life. You are the decider of where your time and energy goes, and you can have it all, be it all, and achieve it all, my friends. If you've enjoyed this conversation with me today, you will absolutely love working with me one-on-one in my high performance coaching program. All of my clients say the same thing. Tiffany, I don't recognize my life. In a short period of time, one round of coaching with me, just a few months, you literally will transform every category of your life and take all of it to higher levels of success. Book a consultation call with me. It will be the most transformative hour of your entire life, guaranteed. The link to do that is in the description below, or head over to tiffanyjulie.com. Listen, sometimes we have to admit that we've taken ourselves as far as we can go. Every extraordinary person will tell you that they have a coach, a mentor, a trainer, a teacher, someone that can hold them to a higher standard, someone who can be there to push them to their edges so that they can know what they're capable of. Honestly, my clients are like, Tiffany, I don't recognize my life. I didn't even know I was capable of these achievements. I didn't even know this was possible for me. They're mind blown and they just want to keep going to entirely new levels. I'm going to teach you how to do that in my high performance coaching program. So book that conversation, and I cannot wait to support you in achieving your next level.
After our first actual coaching call, I went from a complete funk to boom, immediately back in the game, better than I had been ever before. She'll help you go to a level that you've never even been before. Literally, some of the greatest transformations I've ever been in my life have been conversations with her, and the results have been astounding. My business grew, my income grew, which are all great things, but I have to tell you, my personal happiness went to all new levels. My relationship with my wife has gone to all new levels. I'm a significantly better husband and father than I was. My spiritual growth has been unbelievable. My connection with Source, my ability to manifest and create. There's been no greater investment I've ever made. Any of the investments I've had into the stocks, any of the investments in cryptos, any of that stuff, nothing has paid me better than investing in myself and working with Tiffany Julie.
I've had my biggest month in business, which was over $60,000. I made the same amount of money that I did the previous year in half the time.
Helped me get dialed in on my marketing strategies and really coming up with a plan that felt easy.
My income has quadrupled. I am more productive. I just have this deep knowing that I can accomplish the goals that I set forth.
I'm 10 pounds lighter and more ripped than I've been in the last 10 years. And I literally feel like I'm 10 years younger. And
my business grew, and basically in a few months, my revenue doubled. So it's pretty amazing that I was able to grow this business in such a short time.
I also was able to leave my 9-to-5 and launch 3 of my own business ventures.
My self-confidence was boosted. I felt so much more empowered. I believed in myself so much more.
One of the most important things that she really helped me is to bring back my innate happiness.
I had my biggest month in business. I got an entirely new website with new branding. I revamped my coaching programs and packages. I doubled my pricing. I created a new lead magnet. I started a podcast.
There I broke into my first 5-figure month. Then we did some next level branding and positioning, which was huge to actually get some really clear messaging going.
Tiffany's the real deal. Jump in, hire her. You'll thank yourself.
It's some of the best money I've ever spent in my life, in my business life.
So if you're looking to grow, try something new, do something different, achieve the next level, just become the best version of yourself, Tiffany is an excellent choice to entrust your future with.